Some people aren't like comfortable here at all. They get a bit irky when the cameras come on.
Oh mate, I'm sweating.
That was
Bullets
yeah.
under here.
All right, so you literally have to start with start telling the story.
Wait, do I have to
Put him on the spot.
hang on, sorry. Okay.
I got scared about how scared you got.
Yeah.
We were just like, I've never seen two deers stare at each other in the headlights. That was weird.
The
outro music gets put in afterwards.
It's not a podcast a lot.
G'day and welcome to the MacPack podcast. We're back. My name's Jay McKenna, and to my far left, this week in order of the most festivals attended here on the MacPack podcast, it's my little brother Joe. How are you, boy?
Jake, I'm doing well, but I think our two guests might have me done for that one.
I think you might be right. And to my right, coming in at 6'1", as he does each and every week, it's the baby brother of the pack, who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you?
I only got two under my belt, but there'll be plenty more to come in the future.
There you go. And to either side of me, this week we're incredibly excited to welcome both Jarrad and Taylor to the MacPack podcast.
What's going on, mate?
How are you, boys? Going all right? Going all right?
How are we?
Excited to be here.
Got so much to discuss on this week's episode of the pod.
Who are these boys?
We're chatting about seasons.
Yes.
We're chatting about matter. We're chatting about festivals. We're chatting about nightclubs. There's plenty to get into this week. Woo! You pumped?
I'm so pumped.
Hell
You pumped?
Let's do it.
All right, boys. 3, 2, 1. Let's get into it. Boys, boys, boys.
Brother Mingo.
How are we all? Are we all well?
Going great.
Freaking tastic.
Jarrad, Taylor, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having us, mate.
How's things?
Not too bad.
Getting
Not too bad.
excited. You're only a couple of weeks out of the first season's festival
For this summer.
of this summer.
Yeah, that's it. We're what are we, like 2-3 weeks out now? 3
Yep.
weeks out?
Yeah, coming up
So,
to 2. So the stress
go
levels
time,
slowly
you know?
start rising from here.
I'm about a week away from my first tier.
Yeah.
First of many.
It's good to be able to track a bit of a timeline. At least you've done this now for a few years, so you can work out exactly when you are going to start to tear up, and
Oh yeah.
the stress levels are going to become unbearable. So we first met Jarrad and Taylor. We were approached by marketing agency Red Lips.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow, probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago now.
Yep. When I was off to Melbourne.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Yeah, to come and do some promotional work down at Matter.
Yep. At Magna House.
At Magna House on Friday nights. And then I do remember the first time, because you weren't there.
Negative.
Do you remember the first time we laid eyes on these boys?
Yeah, I do. So we were out there. We were doing the interviews and stuff. And there's a lot of people sort of coming up to us. A lot of fairly drunk people.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were just like, oh, they're coming up. We got the big light. We're filming and stuff. And then we see some two pretty handsome lads come up on the side, and we're like, oh, we got some bachelors for this next video. This will be great. And then I think Jake was like,
I was ready. I was chatting to you because you were filming at the time, and I was just doing a little bit of crowd work, trying to work out who was going to be next on the videos. And literally, you two come pretty confidently walking over. I was like, "Oh, these boys are on here." And I've turned around to you, and I remember one of the girls who was working there that night, put her hand up. She was just like, "Oh yeah, we'll be with you in a sec."
Yeah.
To you two, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool. We'll get them on next." And then I can't remember which one of you it was. We're like, "Yeah, no. We don't want to be in your video. We're just here to see what's going on." And then I think you introduced yourselves to me as you guys run the place and everything. And I was like, there you go. But I just found it incredibly funny. We were mere moments away from just chucking the camera straight in your face. And then you were told no, just wait. You guys got to wait. Get in line. Everyone else wants a bit of this first. But no, it was a big night. It was a good night. The first.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
Good time.
Just looking back on it, imagine if you just did swing the camera on us and we're just standing there
Exactly. How did you guys actually... Oh, you go, Riley.
No. I was going to ask the same question you about it.
How did you guys actually meet, the two of you?
High school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jared's
okay,
actually
right.
a year younger than me, so just through one of my mates in high school.
What high school you boys go
groomed from a young age.
You boys go to school in Perth?
Yeah. So it's no longer called Winthrop Baptist, but Winthrop Baptist College, just behind Murdoch Uni.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out
That's
Winnie
it.
Bap. R.I.P. It's now Kennedy.
Oh,
So,
cool. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you
When
go.
did it change? I can't...
I always known it as Kennedy.
Yeah, I've always known it as Kennedy.
It changed, I think. It was
2012, 2013.
Yeah, it was when
2
I was
years
in
after
high
I
school.
graduated
Oh,
or
okay.
something.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because I remember my last year, there was all the big change. And it was 2 schools combined. And like, you know, it was just that school rivalry because they were also like 40 meters away.
Yeah, okay.
Like the classrooms were 40 minutes. So you'd be in class just looking at other people from a different school. And then one day they were like, mate, you're all the same thing soon.
So you went to different schools.
No, so
same
our school was really weird. Our school was built like kind of like from here to your pool
Yeah.
to another school, and they were on a slightly different time schedule. So like they'd be like halfway through a class when your class is starting.
Yeah, okay.
And
They
were
would
like-
be down at lunch while we're in class, and we're like watching them have
A lot of
Yeah.
taunting and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like they merged schools, and they didn't have to do anything.
Cool.
Like they were already just on top.
Yeah,
of each
they
other,
just had
so-
to kill one principal.
So do you remember the first time you boys met? The first time you guys realised that you were good mates?
Taylor's like,
We're still waiting.
Yeah.
We're still trying to work out
So
if
were you
that
in the
day's
same-
happened yet.
It's just in high school.
Sitting there going,
Were you
I
in
don't
the
think we
same-
ever mentioned that we were good friends. What are you
Big
talking
business
about?
card.
Same year group?
No, he's a year younger than me,
Yeah.
so I didn't really hang
There's a
out.
wrinkle in
with
my
him.
brain.
No. So when I first went to high school, Tay was already in year 9. I was in year 8, and I came from a primary school, like that wasn't like a feeder school, so I didn't know anyone. I was like brand new, and there was one kid that I was family friends with, who was a year above me in primary school.
There you go.
So I kind of just gravitated to him, and then as he made his friend group, I was kind of like just there, like
Lurking in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And after a while, we just brought him in, you know.
yeah.
There you go. So how'd you boys start to get into the whole party scene? Were there a few epic year 9, year 8
Absolutely.
mix of parties that were going around?
That's it. Yeah, no. Yeah, basically, we used to throw parties in high school, especially at his house, and then they kind of they were really good, a lot of fun. Parents go away for the weekend, and you're
Fuck
like,
yeah.
oh, all right.
How young is this? What year is this? Because my parties started to pick up in like year 10.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
10 year
yeah.
old.
Year
Probably
8,
year
year
11.
8. I was still getting dropped off at like
Yeah.
Jungle
wherever.
gym.
Jungle gym. Yeah. Yeah, no, like year 10, and it was good. Everyone kind of lives within like one main suburb.
Yep.
His house was just bang in the middle of that suburb,
There you
so
go.
parties could spontaneously kick off.
So when you say I've forgotten my question.
I did too.
So when the parties began, what was the epicenter for this little combination of?
I remember exactly when, because I'd been 18 for a bit. So
Okay.
it was just after high school, we were still like, we'd have the odd prees and stuff like that, and then head out. And I saw that other promoters were doing these club nights and
Yep.
stuff like that. And I was like, hold on, I can do this. And then I remember distinctly, we must have been at a prees or something, and Jarrad just turns to me and goes, man, the sickest thing would be owning a nightclub. Like, oh, that'd be so and like, we're 18.
17, boy. And I saw it coming.
And I was like, well, I've got an idea. It's not owning a nightclub, but it's the next best thing. What about this? And then Jarrad kind of took the idea and ran with it.
Yeah,
So-
nice.
Fuck yeah.
And then it kind of went from there. I think I'd been thinking about it for like a month or so. And I reckon the next day, Jarrad's like, I've called the nightclub. We've got a meeting. We're starting our event in 2 weeks' time. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Are you 17?
You're not going to get let in?
Yeah, no. When all this happened, I'd literally just turned 18. Like I was still figuring out if I even was about going out, because I was used to just go to all the prees.
Yeah.
And the taxis would, this is pre-Uber, so the taxis would rock up, and I'd be like just standing there, walking, waving goodbye, and I'd start my walk home. And
You're like, last night was a movie.
As you're walking into the dark.
So when you,
Have fun, friends.
oh man, it was sad.
when you say you threw a lot of parties in high school, like
Oh,
one a week or like? Because
my
usually it's
my
like one
sister
per
was a year
annum.
older than me. So
Yeah, okay.
like, it was a lot of her friends. And then I'd just tack on my mates as well.
Yep.
But yeah, my parents, I reckon every second weekend we'll go down to Mandurah. And they've got a house down there.
Every second weekend.
Every
Yeah,
second
every-
weekend, probably.
Oh, that's
So it's a
fucked.
fortnightly
That's
kind
that's
of.
the thing.
That's sick.
That's the kind of vibe where it gets.
And my parents' like rules were, if the house is how we left it, we don't care what happens.
Cool.
They're great rules.
Yeah.
So it was
They were taken advantage of.
manic Sunday cleaning.
And so do they know about it?
Oh, they definitely knew we had
To
parties.
some extent, but not
Yeah, not the full
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
Does it
But
not,
yeah,
does it not get as fun anymore? Every second week, you know?
You
after
never
get
know
a
what's
few-
going to happen. You know?
I didn't throw one every second week, but like,
Yeah.
it'd be a regular thing.
Yeah, sick.
So
And how many people were we talking at these parties?
it varied like the older we got, and when we started running. If we go into when we started our first events and stuff, we would host prees for them.
Yep.
So it would vary. Like we would do prees with, just 10, 15 people. But
Yep.
I think the most in my house, which I was surprisingly okay with, was 160 people.
Yeah, okay, that's
Jeez.
decent. You take that.
Fucking hell. That's like police are getting cold.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah,
neighbours.
luckily it was a pre, so everyone was out by like 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So we did, like,
Yeah.
if it went to midnight, my house would have been destroyed.
Did you ever have a police calling on like a house party? Did
Oh,
one ever
absolutely.
get?
Yeah. There- we had a couple of run-ins pretty early, but basically, like, not to jump forward or anything, but like when we started running events, the first thing was they sucked. We didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't really have anyone to ask. And we were like, man, essentially the conversation we had was, we throw house parties with more
Yeah.
people than what are coming to our. What if we
Oh,
make the house
right.
party? We throw a house party, and then we'll just pay for all these buses to come and pick everyone up, and then take them to the club that we're trying to kick off.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's when it started going from like, your normal party size, maybe like 50, 60 people. Yeah, we were starting to hit like 160. I think I had 200 and something at my house one time.
Fuck.
And then from
Fuck,
there,
that's
we were like,
out of hand.
yeah, no.
Like,
no,
shit
no.
could
Do you
be
know all of
happening
these
and you
people?
don't-
No,
No, absolutely
oh,
not.
God, no. So essentially, what
I didn't know
happened
any of
was,
them.
Just in Taylor.
yeah,
Oh, man, I remember I was in Europe on Kentucky, and I was just at like one of the bus stops, or like one of the stops with all the where everyone was sleeping.
Yeah.
And some random from another Kentucky was like, "I've been in your house,"
Yeah, right.
and I was like, "I have no idea who you are."
yeah.
Taylor, fortnightly Taylor. We call you.
Without like getting like, I don't want to sidetrack too much, but like, yeah, these prees that we used to throw, or house parties, I guess how it started off with like 50, 60.
There were
and
prees for everyone that wasn't you, by
Yeah.
the sounds of it.
yeah.
You were just like, this is it.
And then we started going out, and I was working at vintage sellers at the time, and we were like, all right, well, what if we start charging everyone like $30 to come to the prees?
Yeah.
But we'll do like, it was essentially a massive house party. So we had hired DJs, photographers. It was all you could drink. We'd go out and buy like 6-7 grand worth of alcohol, and we'd just make cocktail batches.
Wow, that's
and
a
beer.
lot.
Nah, probably like $2 grand, $3
No.
grand, I reckon.
No.
Nevertheless.
Towards the end, it was huge.
$6 grand worth of alcohol is a lot.
I just remember we always kind of like broke even on. We never made money from it.
No, we
So
didn't.
it was always
we weren't
like,
making money. We weren't great at business.
That's sick. And so how old were you when you were doing this? This is 17, 18. This
no. This was like 18, 19.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. That's
yeah.
impressive.
Did it get
That's
to
sick.
a point of like these house parties? Was it like, because when I go to a party, I go there to have fun, even if I'm hosting one. But no, usually when I'm hosting one, it's less fun.
Because there's a bit of stress
Yeah.
and organisation.
Don't you have
Yeah.
that feeling of it's like, I'm not going to have fun at this event. This is more for other people. I'm providing fun for the others.
To an extent, but we were also kind of like, everyone's paying money. This is crazy. So we kind of like we stressed about it once people started getting there, and we were like, everything's locked away. We just kind of started drinking. We paid his sister to like be on the door and like make sure everyone paid to get in. And then, yeah, we just got super drunk, and then we'd be like looking at our phones and be like, oh shit, there's like 4 party buses outside. And we'd go from there. It got more stressful after we moved on from the house, because we kind of outgrew houses. We started booking like under fake names for 50ths at like the local town halls. And then that's when like,
Barbara White.
20-year-olds all rock up.
yeah, we just
Hey.
like email them from like a fake email account and be like, hey, but it's Terry's 50th. Hoping to book that. And then like some poor person at City Melbourne was like, absolutely, happy birthday to Terry. And I'd be like, we'd be doing 4 trips to the Bottle-O, and there'd be like a Facebook event with like 300 people on it. That's where the numbers started cracking like 200, 250. And that's when the police started getting involved.
You look nothing like Terry. Get Terry. Can we get Terry down the front?
Just light fraud.
Yeah, just like fraud.
Exactly.
We were not allowed back at many holes
Yeah.
around the Melville area.
So what did the cops do? Did the cops ever shut it down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were.
But what did they say? Like,
They were all right a couple of times because a lot of the times, because those are like, these were parties that would kind of run till about 10
Okay,
30.
yeah. So that's manageable.
Yeah.
A lot of cops were rocking up almost every event, but they'd always kind of thankfully get there around like 9:45. And I'm like, and we'd go out and speak to them and we'd be like, listen, you could shut this down.
But
Who knows
as
what
the
happens?
buses are pulling up, and we're like,
But
yeah,
in
we're
15
about
minutes,
late.
we are out of here.
Yeah, okay,
And
right.
everyone wants to go to the next spot. So they'd be like, all right, well, we're just going to wait around the corner if you're not out of here in 15, 20 minutes. And I'd just be on the phone and be like, fuck, mate, pull those buses up.
Yeah, okay, right.
shit, that's sick.
But they were a lot of fun. But, also a lot of trips back from like the club to like 5 a.m. to start mopping these halls.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like,
True.
trying to figure out how we explained for 12 broken windows and like a ripped up toilet seat.
Terry had a big night. Terry was loving it. Oh,
so
well, that's
sick.
pretty exciting.
That's
But yeah.
so cool. And do you still get like as excited for a party of like thousands and thousands and thousands at seasons?
Actually, Tan and I were talking about this the other week. No. No.
We're closing seasons.
No, I actually asked Tay. I asked you the other week. I was like, when was the last time you went out and had fun? And I think your answer was to me was about 4 years ago. And I was like, there was a point.
Terry's 60.
No, there was a point when it went for us like this is a lot of fun. Like we were used to go like seasons early days, right? We'd roll into like we'd sell it like something like the Blue Flamingo back in the venue in Lady. And that was a lot of fun because it was kind of like DJs know what they're doing. We're at a venue. We get to basically drink for free. All our friends are going to be there. And we'd kind of roll in like
The boys, yeah.
beyond that, no. No, it's mostly stress. Like my favorite part of seasons now is when everyone's left the site.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
It's done.
Nothing
done. I
Nothing
can.
that bad happened.
Nothing bad happened.
No
We
one
survived.
Died, yeah.
We survived another event.
Fuck yeah, that's cool. What about like Night at Matter?
Hey.
Night at Matter.
Oh mate, once I start having a couple of drinks,
We're on.
who knows what's going on? But yeah, no, they're fun.
Yeah, nice. So were you working while you were doing this as well? Or were you just like... Because I would imagine you're making an income, but you said you're not making profit on it. Is that right?
That's when we were doing the pre's. Yeah.
So you're still working as well?
Yeah. I still work
Where were you
to
working?
this day. I just work for my parents.
No, at the time when you were doing this.
Still.
Oh,
work for
yeah,
my
it's
parents.
sick.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
What about
yeah.
yourself?
No, around this time I was working for Vintage Sellers.
Yeah.
And then
So you got a sponsor for the parties as well.
and then I moved on to the Shell service station after
Yeah,
that.
okay, right. Okay.
So, fucking.
Plenty to do there.
Yeah.
Plenty to do. And how long was you stint there? Decent or?
No, not that long. Not that long. I got fired from Shell because I was stealing their newspapers. And
Why?
in terms of stealing, no.
Why
Just,
the newspaper?
I was.
Does not really care about the comics. That important. He just loves comics.
Yeah. No. I was used to like close up shop. So I don't know, like it wasn't like a servo that like was open 24/7. Like there was a close time like 10:30.
Okay.
And like the last couple of jobs, you kind of like you mop everything up, and then you've got no customers. So I'd just be behind the counter. I'd grab that day's newspaper and I'd do like the crossword.
Yeah.
And then that was just my ritual, like crossword and jumble words. I'm like, all right, yeah, 4 across. And then they ended up. Backstory: when you're done at the night, you throw the papers out. It's yesterday's news.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
at that point, it's literally yesterday's news. So they get chucked out, and they get picked up by the people that drop off tomorrow's news, like 4 a.m, whatever. and they called me in and they were like, "You've been consuming the newspapers, and we've got you like 40 times consuming the newspapers." And I'm like,
A video of you eating the paper.
yeah, and they're like, "Nah, once you open it and you start drawing in it, you've consumed it." And they gave me some weird reference. It's like opening a Kit Kat or some chocolate bar and snapping half of it. And I'm like, it's not really. It's not really.
Damaging anyone else's property.
Yeah. But so turns out 4 Across was fired. And,
Alrighty, boys. The party scene is obviously picking up at this point in the stories
Of yes.
of seasons. How did you get involved with seasons?
Do you wanna take this one?
Yeah. So Richard, who is another business partner who also runs Seasons
Yep.
with us, who is not here, he was like, let's start a new event. And I think we came up with the idea of doing something at Gilkinson's. I think that was the original concept. It was like, let's do like a rave at Gilkinson's dance hall.
I think the original, I could be wrong about this, but I think the original concept was we were calling it Seasons. And it was kind of like, it was meant to be like a Sunday session during summer.
Yep.
And then when winter comes, it was going to originally flip to like
A rave.
a rave.
So the
So
the
right.
idea with Seasons was we'll run
Changes with the
for a
seasons.
year, and it changes with the season. So there's a spring, summer, autumn, winter.
Okay, cool.
I
So
like
that's how we started it, and we were like, okay, this is a cool concept. We'll do a summer party, and winter we'll do a rave in Gilkinson's, like a winter warehouse party.
Sick.
And then we were like, spring and autumn, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do, but we'll figure it out.
That's fair.
What happened to that?
And then,
Did you do that?
no, absolutely not.
No.
I think after, so then we were like, okay, this was, I think, in November back in, 2016 maybe? 17?
What year are we now?
2022.
Two? Yeah. Fuck, I should probably know that.
Yeah, probably 2016, 2017.
2017 or something,
Yeah.
2016, yeah.
Yeah, so this was really in November, so we're like, okay, we'll obviously start with summer.
Yep.
And then we did the first summer one for, I think it was in February, early Feb. And everyone was like, dude, those Dave, like Sunday sesh, like, because we did it on a Sunday, they were like, Sunday sesh so good, like,
Yeah, it was just
you got to do another one. And then very quickly the whole let's do it to the seasons went out the window, and we're like, we're just doing summer party.
Yeah, right.
The first one was like at the Rosemount, and we sold like, I think we were like, first brand, first time at like a Sunday session, tickets. Sunday sessions are normally free, and we were
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
and we were like, 200 people would be a good show. And I think we did like 500-600, and we were like,
Great
well,
show.
what do we have here? And then, as they said, we kind of busted out another one, and that one went pretty well. And then summer kind of ended. And then I remember we had this conversation. We were like, so are we going to do this winter party that we actually never told anyone that the brand's going to change? Like,
Okay, yep.
Right, yep.
and then we're like, nah, let's just wait and see what the next summer brings. And then we kind of just hit the ground running next summer. Like, our first event kind of exceeded our expectations again, and then we were like, we should do like 3. Like, we did 2 last year, we'd do 3 this year, and then everyone just kind of got bigger and bigger. And then it was just
It just
started
slowly
getting
grew from there.
Yeah,
But like, because we obviously, our initial thing was like, we're going to be a Sunday sesh.
Yeah.
And we were doing Sundays for probably 2.5 years. Which, looking back on it, was just mental. Like, we did a Sunday session at Ascot Racecourse, and we did 7,000 people. And
Right.
I was like,
we did it with like
how
4 weeks notice.
How are 7,000 people coming out on a Sunday? Like,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like, now that it's on a Saturday, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Like, you'll go to a season on Saturday. But back when it was a Sunday session, I still am like, why did people do that?
Do you think it's also like, obviously you guys started when you were a bit younger, and then all the groups and stuff you were with, or like shifting from like uni students to more like, young professional people who actually work, and you're like, well, I'm not going out on Sunday because
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
physically can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh no, we were 100% in kind of like the right demo where people were starting to earn a bit more, but didn't really have that responsibility of that Monday morning, like 9 to 5 just yet. So like, and I guess 7,000 other people didn't. So
And
Yeah,
then-
because I think I went to one seasons at Ascot, and I don't know if it was the first one I went to, but yeah, it was like.
Was it New
packed.
Year's Eve?
No, I went to that one as well, but
Oh,
this was a
sorry
different.
about
Oh,
one.
that was a Sunday. That was a Sunday.
Yeah,
at
it would have been.
Ascot.
Yeah. Yeah, I also went to the New Year's Eve one.
At Ascot.
How was that?
Yeah. What was
Personally,
Did you get in?
Yeah. Did you get in?
yeah, I got in. Yeah, we got in there pretty early.
Okay.
So
So we
good.
were. Oh, actually,
Why? You guys are
actually,
like tiptoeing around it. What was it like?
wait, actually,
That
now,
was-
now that you say that, our bus got up and we just sort of moseyed on down to the front of the line. We just sort of got.
Oh yeah, no,
Got
that
in.
was our first experience of what can go wrong when you run a festival.
Well, what happened?
Basically, how do I start
We went.
this?
No, well, we went from. Let's be honest. We went from 7,000 to that New Year's Eve. We sold 16,500.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So that's a huge jump.
We were making our first power move.
Yeah.
You know, like, we were not Sundays anymore. We're actually premium dates, the most premium of dates, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And the people of Perth said absolutely.
Little did they know we had no.
Yeah, we were still, you know.
You went,
like-
pardon? Say it again. Absolutely. Okay, well, I guess we'll see you there.
Yeah, but for that event, because we were at Ascot Racecourse, right? You obviously have to deal a lot with Ascot Racecourse, and the deal we kind of made with them was, you know, we'll take the tickets, you take the bar, we'll pay for the stages, but we're going to use like mostly your facilities.
Yep.
And then we'd have these massive, man, I'll never forget this. We had these massive meetings with like the board of Ascot because it was like their big thing on their calendar. And I was like, oh, look, you know, I think the entry probably needs to change because like 16,000 people, blah, blah, blah. And I'll never forget this. Ascot, if you're watching this, they looked at me because we brought this issue up a few times and looked at me and said, you need to stop bringing this up. We run Melbourne Cup every year. We have 18 to 20,000 people. We know what we're doing. And I'm just like, I know, but the Melbourne Cup's like 18 over the day. We're talking about 16, and I reckon they're going to come within 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a
And
short window.
They told me to, you know, take a hike. And I just walked out of there going, oh, we'll see who had the last laugh. And it was them. But but no, so basically, sure enough, yeah, 16,000 odd people come down and descend upon Ascot over the course of about 2 hours. And the lines just fell apart. They didn't have enough security out there. Pretty much everything that we said, hey, this is a problem, and they told us to kind of like sod off,
Yeah.
became a problem. And it just got so out of hand, like the barriers for people lining up. What time did you get in roughly?
Yeah, no, because we got in. It was fucked when we got there. So we like to sort
Was
of
the
push
sun
to the
still
front.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, surely.
Oh, it got bad when the sun went down. when the sun went down.
So did seasons.
Yeah,
Seasons change, man.
yeah, no. So what time do you think you kind of got in?
Oh, I have no idea.
Sounds like the start of a bad film. Like when the sun went down, shit hit the fucking
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah. No. So people were in line for about like 2 to 3 hours because essentially the barricades got ripped apart. And instead of having like, they only put out, to give everyone an idea, we basically go, for every 1,000 people coming, we make a lane. Like one
Yeah.
lane, 1,000 people.
Yeah.
We said to them, 16 lanes. And they said, what about 5? And we went, okay.
Did you not hear that bit before?
Yeah, all right. Well, if you say so. And then we were like, okay, and it needs to be, you know, if any of you guys have been to festivals, you know, usually like 3 stations, like
Yep.
ID, bags, wristbands, 3 separate things.
Yep.
And they went, that's a waste of staff. One staff member can do each. 5 staff members, 5 lanes. Simple.
Yeah, there was 5 people.
Nah, there was probably a little bit more, but it was pretty close
Yeah.
to that.
And also they'll have a lot of people come in, but also they range from like what 18 to like 80 or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you
for-
guys
for
have a
the
bunch
races.
of like
18
super
to
young
like
people.
19,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, no, that fell apart so quickly and no one was getting in. I remember, I can't remember, you might be able to remember, I had it out with the head security guard there. Like I was like, this is your fault. And he was like, I swear to God, this is no word of lie. People had ripped the barriers and he was holding onto one barrier with one hand and holding onto the other with the other, and like you know those.
He
like,
was the barrier.
and he was looking at me going, "Fuck off." And I was like, "You mother!" And then we had people collapsing in line because it just became one. It was like the line became like
It
50
became a
people
mosh pit.
deep. It became a mosh pit. And then we had girls fainting, so then they were getting carried over. So I was with the ambulances then, and I was getting girls having like fits and stuff. And I was just looking at like the board at this point. At this point, like we knew everything was falling apart. And the board, some of the board members actually came from like not meant to be there, came down because I was like, this is gonna get bad. And I was just looking at them, shooting them the worst look, and they were just standing there, kind of like, "Oh, this is all fine." And I'm like, "It's a 3-hour."
Have a look around.
Yeah. And then the issue was like, you know, once everyone eventually they were like, you know what? I think the decision was eventually like, you know what? Don't check their bags because that's slowing this down massively.
Yeah,
Don't check
right.
their bags, and then eventually being like, don't even check their ID. Just make sure they've got a ticket. If they've got a ticket, they can get in. And then that took basically the problem from out there. You got like, you know, so let's say there was 10,000 people in this line.
Yeah.
That's 10,000 people that desperately want to piss and drink.
Yeah.
So then our bars get slammed and our toilets get slammed. And the poor people that were inside just see this horde of people run through. And then, the next day they called me and they were like, just so you know, because obviously we had Channel 9, Channel 7, Channel 10, everyone reach out to us and be like, oh, what's going on? We had the news stations there that night because word got out that there was a big no-no going on.
Oh my god.
And then they wanted interviews and all of that. And they were like, just so you know, if you mention our name, you know, we're coming after you, blah, blah, blah. Hence, they got the last laugh because like we essentially we copped that one on the chin. We were like, oh yeah, seasons. It's a lesson we'll learn from. And I was like, the only lesson I learned is like,
Fuck them.
yeah. That being said, Ascot, please take us back. If it's done right, it will be great.
Fuck. That's elite. That's good advertising for the be on the news. Oh, well,
Yeah.
not really in your context, but still good exposure.
We were talking about how funny would it be if I like did accept the interviews and go dressed up as Corey Worthington.
Yeah. Yes, that'd be
and,
so good.
and like just like if you're gonna make the best of a bad situation, like try and go viral. You know?
Oh,
Hell yeah.
God.
To track back, why haven't you changed the name of Seasons if the concept has been different, or have you just
Because
stuck with it
the
because it
name's
was too
too
late?
good.
The name very
brand.
quickly became synonymous with the brand, and then like we just like the name.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
Yeah.
you know,
I like
the summer season's here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the seasons are changing, it's getting warmer, and then us.
Oh yeah,
That's how I like to think. Everyone looks at it.
that's sick. I remember that's a pretty rough story. But I remember the first seasons I went to, and only, was last year, and it was on grand final weekend, which
Yep.
was which was pretty early for you guys. Is that right?
Yeah.
So it was the last Saturday of September.
It was the Listen Out weekend.
But there was
Yeah,
no
But
listen
there was
out.
no Listen Out.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
it.
you. Listen out for.
Oh, yeah. But I do remember, obviously, because it's in September, it's still quite rainy. And I remember telling a story on the show about my friend Big Ed. And
last
we
year.
all peeled into the Ozone Reserve. First music festival we'd ever been to. So the boys were sending it. For reference, Eddie drinks about 26 standard drinks to get drunk. So he was gone.
Yeah.
And on the way in, obviously, it used to be grass, but then it turned into mud. And my boy Big Ed fell and got splattered in the mud. And you guys told me a story about the other side of this torrentious day
Yeah.
Yeah.
as the
Yes.
runners rather than the consumers. So
Yes.
tell us
Yes.
about that horrid day.
That was
our
that was
second
September.
worst moments.
That was thankfully turned out okay, but that was very stressful that morning.
Yeah.
Essentially, the whole week leading up to, even a couple weeks before, we were like, it's end of September. Should we get weather insurance? And weather insurance is a thing for festivals. You can buy insurance. It costs a lot of money compared to like normal just liability insurance.
Yeah.
But the idea is if anything weather related goes wrong at your festival, the insurance company will step in and help you fix the problem so the festival can run, or they'll just give you give you all your money back.
I didn't know the first part was part of it. Like, I fair enough that they give you your money back, but if they're going to step in and assist, that's
Oh, no.
It's because they don't want to have
They've
to pay.
turned to us and been like, if you like, you know, we're insured for X amount, right?
Yeah.
Like all of our costs, all of our earnings.
Yeah.
They're basically the example they said was like, if you need to displace a huge amount of water real quick, we'll go hire a bunch of helicopters and we'll just hover them above the festival site. So like we will pay as long as it kind of makes sense and you give it a good crack.
Yeah.
So I'm
we'll
like,
do whatever we can
so
to
if you
make sure
ever
the
see
festival
4
happens.
Chinooks
Yeah, wow,
hanging
that's
above, ozone, all the blades going, just know we're in trouble.
Because like,
shovel.
they would rather spend the money to get the helicopters
than
pay
pay
everything.
everything.
else.
okay,
everything
that's
out.
fair.
Yeah,
Sons of bitches.
And I think Jarrad was looking up the weather. We were all looking up the weather, like the 3-week weather forecast, and the decision was stupidly made. Nah, we'll be right. Fuck it, we don't want to spend fucking 40 grand on weather insurance. We'll be okay.
Hell
It's
yeah.
Perth as well. Like hardly ever
Surely
gets
it'll be-
bad
Oh,
weather.
yeah.
And obviously, you probably never had a weather issue before. So
We've
it's
never
like,
had a
what
weather
are the
issue. We were fully
chances?
aware that September's 50-50, but it was like,
But it's
we're-
only 4 weeks earlier than your normal, so it's like
exactly.
can't be
And
that bad.
we're looking at like the 7-day forecast, the 14-day forecast. Some of the bar operators they like go out like deep sea fishing, so they have like those huge range.
Yeah. Weather,
And
weather
we're having all
contractions.
these, we're like, man, we are absolutely fine. Like, we're calling up the weather insurance on a 32 and sunny day going, we're good. We'll keep the money. And then, we basically, site takes about like, a week or so to build. And every day is just like 28 sunny, no wind, 31 sunny. And it's just a dream. It's an absolute
Oh,
dream.
beautiful. Fuck weather insurance.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, don't need that shit.
the entire time we're doing our due diligence, and I call up Bureau of Meteorology, and if you call them up and you can go to the certain extension, you can give them an address, because it's like Perth. When you look at the Perth weather forecast, it actually gives you like an average over like the entire corridor, or something like this.
Yeah.
But you can give them the address. You can speak to someone and go, "This is the address." And I'd call them every day at about 3:30 in the afternoon. Monday, just kind of give you guys a run through. Monday, it was, you are good to go.
Hell
This
yeah.
is what a good day for a festival. Like I was having conversations, being like,
Tickets still available, man.
Yeah.
Fuck weather
Yeah.
insurance.
yep, and they're like, this is it's amazing. Tuesday, amazing. Wednesday, oh, it's all right. No, it might be a little overcast.
Jeff, your tone has changed, man. What's going on?
Thursday, they're like, oh, it's gonna be raining, but it's gonna be light showers in the morning. Nothing more. You guys are good. And obviously at this point, we're kind of like, fucking,
Yeah.
this is not ideal. The next day, it was, oh my God. This is thunderbolts and lightning the entire day. And there's now a chance of hail, and we're looking at 25 mils of rain or
And did
something.
she- that
And
just,
she made this comment to me, and she goes, I've never seen the weather turn this bad. I'm standing there
We're all making
on the
history.
main stage, overlooking like 70 contractors and subbies just working away, and I'm just going, I'm not insured for any of this. And I've got 16,000 people coming down tomoror.
And is it, at this point too late to buy that?
At this point,
no.
at this point,
Too late.
oh, dude, if I called my insurance company up, they'd be looking at me going, brother, they're not picking up my calls anymore. And then we are freaking out, and like I'm talking like seriously freaking out, because essentially at this point, we're made aware, which is something that I don't know. There's not really a rule book on how to run festivals, but if anyone's ever thinking about running a festival, this is a handy rule to know, which I didn't learn until the lightning came. But if you're running a festival, if lightning strikes 3 times within a window of 15 minutes, within 5-kilometer radius of the site, shut down. You got to shut down. You got metal shit going everywhere.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And if you shut down before a certain amount of time after the event has started, you have to refund everyone. So we were about to find ourselves in a position where we're going to take all the money that we've earned and give that back, and then turn to all of our contractors, and they've done their job. Like, it's built.
You've gotta pay.
So we got to pay them. And I was like, oh my God. I need to change my name. I need to take my last dollars and
Flee
move
the country.
to, like, you catch
Yeah.
me in like Sri Lanka, you know?
You just see like in Mexico, it's like L seasons.
It's just me with a moustache going on. But so then we were like, you know, who knows? I remember having this conversation like super late that night with Tay, and I was like, the weather's changed this bad, this quick. What's to say it doesn't change back? I don't want to spoil the story for anyone, but it did not.
The first stage is denial.
And then during this time, we actually book for that week. We'll book rooms at Fraser Suites, which is right next to Ozone Reserve, because essentially we wake up, work, come back late at night, sleep,
Do it all
repeat.
again, yeah.
Yeah.
And that morning, I woke up at about 6 a.m. to the sound of just the most hectic lightning and thunder outside my room. This is show day.
Yeah.
And then I just look at my phone. I just see a message from Tay just being like, fuck. And I'm like, oh.
I remember my group chats and my events for prees popping off like, are we even going to do this?
Is this happening?
Yeah, and I was hungover from the night before because grand final night. I went to a 21st. Like, I was like, I mean, I'm alright if it doesn't happen.
But
I remember we're at the bottom of Fraser Suites out there. Jarrad was having a smoke, and I'm standing next to him, and we're looking over at sight, and it's hailing.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I'm just like, we are so fucked. Like, there's no way to put it. We are fucked.
Yeah.
And we're getting calls from people on site going, it's fucked.
no, we were getting calls from like the police. We were getting calls from like the city of Perth, and they were just like, well, what are you boys gonna do now? And you know, I'm there going, looking at like that deep of water, the entire site. And then we were just like, well, I mean, like, we just can't cancel. We cannot cancel. If we cancel this, it's over. So then we ended up calling like every friend that we knew with like pickup truck, like utes.
Yep.
Got them all down. City of Perth, they are still to this day quite annoyed at us about this. The Parks team, anyway.
City of Perth Parks and Rec.
Parks and
Shout
Rec,
out.
yeah, they're Parks. Yeah. Blake, if you're
Yeah, on the
listening,
22nd of October.
we are sorry, but they had this massive mulch pile that was reserved for Kings Park. It was like super, apparently, I didn't even realize this, but super high-end mulch. And I was like, I don't know. It's like,
shit.
nah, they've been talking about how it's got to be a
Was it like
particular
wood
type
chips
of wood.
and like,
Yeah, it's got to be a
It's
particular.
Jarrah.
It's just aged oak. But I just got all the guys, as many guys as I could. I called them up. I was like, you got to come down. And we just stole all their mulch and just spread it throughout the entire thing to kind of absorb as much water or just create a. The only part we didn't get to, well, actually, a lot we didn't get to, but we hit the worst parts. But we neglected the front, which is, I believe, where your friend turned.
That's where Big Ed fell.
Yeah. So I had a
Still
friend.
there.
Oh yeah, and then he struggled to get up, and one of
Just kept slipping.
one of the security guards tried to lift him up, but he weighs. I disclosed his weight last week, 155 kilograms, and they tried to lift him up. They eventually got him up, but it was a sight to see. Definitely a sight
Yeah.
to see.
But yeah, no. So that was a. But then in the end, sorry, there was a silver lining to this story. We opened the doors at 3 or 4 or something.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Which
It
is that's the
stopped.
plan. That was always the plan.
That was always the plan.
Yeah,
Yep. So yeah, basically, it stopped raining at 2:50. We opened the doors at 3, and then like the Lord shined down on us because it was then fantastic weather for 8 hours, and we
Beautiful.
ran for 8 hours.
Beautiful.
And I
Never in doubt.
remember just watching the weather app. I downloaded some lightning strike app and just watching the clouds and coming over and going, I hope it does not rain. And my God, it
Yeah.
didn't.
Every cloud that we were watching on this like 500 kilometer radar, radius forecast thing, would just kind of hit the coast and just make this wicked left or right. And I was like, God wants this to happen. So, silver lining. There you go. Lightning only struck like a couple of times within 5Ks and then didn't come back for the rest of the day.
Perfect. You didn't call the gang back at the meteorology place and be like, Without a hitch.
No,
Without a
but
hitch.
no, I got to call them in the next couple of days. And I'm like, do you remember me? You motherfuckers. Hey?
The last thing I remember about that day was when you guys wrap at like 10.
Yeah, we wrapped
No.
at 10.
I remember it was like 9:50. The fireworks started to go off, and then it started to rain.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It was
That
good.
was
It was
it.
a good ending to the day.
Yeah.
Because you got to have basically you have meetings throughout. We have meetings throughout the festival, so it's like ingress, like people getting into the venue. So we'll have meetings with like police, traffic management, you know, all the stakeholders basically going, how's that going? What's working? What's not working? And then you have a meeting. So that would be like, say, hypothetically at like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Then you have a meeting on basically how the night's progressing in general around, say, 7. So all the stakeholders come, we all meet in some back room somewhere and like the motivational speech, like they got us in the first half, but we're getting in the second. You know? And then you have a meeting at like about an hour and a half before the festival ends, because people start to like, you know, they're like, this is ending in half an hour, but I'll leave now so I can get like an Uber before.
Before the crowd.
So then you have to have a meeting anticipating that mentality. And on that particular day, because everything was so crazy, we had that meeting just before we closed doors. And then we were like, okay, we just got to get everyone out. And I remember standing in that room going, like, I got them giving this speech and it starts raining. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. And we
Everyone's
just look
gonna
outside
leave.
and people start just naturally making their way. And I was like, oh.
The gift of rain.
Yeah.
Bravo. What a day. That was my first seasons. Best so far.
There we go.
It's
This-
all down from there.
This year we will have weather insurance. We're not making that
Oh,
mistake.
I can confirm.
Although I
that
hear it's meant to be
insurance has
lovely.
recently been paid for.
Good call.
If it doesn't rain this year, I'm actually going to be really upset.
But there's also times where some stuff is out of our control.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like
Yeah.
we could have got weather insurance and not had a problem. But there's also times where you don't think of things and things just kind of pop up out of nowhere and you're just like, what the fuck are we going to do about this? One of them in particular was New Year's Eve Wacker a couple of years ago.
Yep.
We set everything up, everything smooth sailing, no rain, nothing. It was happy days. And then I remember about 2 or 3 days before, some girl messages our page and goes, is there going to be toilets in the silent disco? And we're like, absolutely. Like, of course there are. Like, why would we not have toilets in the silent disco?
Why are you messaging that so far in advance?
I know,
They're
she's
like,
planning.
The
She's
messages
planning.
we get.
She's
are
planning to be in that
ridiculous.
silent disco for 8 hours. You know? Is there a bar and is there a toilet? I'm not leaving. I'm like, okay. And doors open, everything's running smoothly, and the silent disco opens 2 hours after doors open. So it's 7 o'clock for that event. And I got a call from one of our site managers, and he goes, oh, I don't know what's happening, but the toilet in the silent disco is flooding. And we're like, what do you mean? It's only been open for half an hour. How could it be flooding?
Yeah.
And he's like, I think it's still full from the previous event.
Oh, beautiful.
So the toilet company delivered a toilet still full of shit.
No.
And there's nothing like
It's
we were
like
just
your only role, isn't it?
Empty it, deliver it to the next place.
yeah.
And what more is
I'm
there?
pretty sure it's actually illegal to transport a toilet.
With
shit.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it like in the cubicle or is it in
Yeah,
like
so
a
like,
big
you know,
car?
the
Yeah, I
big-
always wondered this.
It's underneath the floors.
It's underneath the floor.
Oh, that's far.
So you know those,
Yeah.
like those.
So
it's
when
like
it
lock
starts,
up.
when it starts flooding, it seeps
floor
through the
up.
floor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's why it's always wet and smelly. Like when you walk into one, it's moist from the bottom. It's not like dripping from the roof or anything.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was already full, and so it was flooding and it was leaking,
Yeah, beaut.
and we were just like, all right, we're gonna close down the toilets, and for whatever reason, I can't remember what, the toilets were so damaged that we couldn't turn off the water flow to the toilets.
It was when they got delivered. The guy that delivered it, it was all this big rush. Apparently, they didn't even run to empty it. But, they snapped the handle for the pressure upon delivery while they were like dropping off the back of a truck. They didn't tell us this. So, you know, so they just plugged it in, and the guy apparently was just like, she'll be right.
She's full and she'll be
She
right.
was not, but
and then I think Jarrad at this time's up, like talking to like all the stakeholders, having one of those meetings, you know, and I'm just like, get the squidgy! Like there's water leaking out into the silent disco and shit, and we're just like, I'm like, where are the fucking cleaners we've hired? Like, get them here ASAP.
The chick's messaging you going, you know when you said there was going to be a toilet in the silent disco? I didn't think you meant in the silent disco.
Yeah. So then we had to close down that toilet, and then what that leads to is everyone, like people in the silent disco, are like, well, I want to leave to chuck a piss, and then all the other toilets start getting rammed. And then there's massive queues for all the other toilets, and you getting cop and abuse on the messages like, "Why the fuck the toilet line's so long?" And I remember to this day, I'm squidgying like piss and shit around this toilet, and I get this message being like, "You fucking liars! There's not a fucking toilet in this." I'm like,
the one thing I asked.
I had one request.
Oh
my
and then
God.
it was on New Year's Eve, and someone's like, we need to get a toilet pump truck here ASAP, because we usually pump the toilets after the event, the next day.
Yeah.
So we are manically calling, and we get this guy from Rockingham, and he's like, I'm not leaving my house until I've received the payment. Like, so I'm like here on my phone, so I don't even know how much it was, but it was a few grand, and I was just like, just fucking get here.
Get off the couch, Barry.
Use the receipt. Get your ass here right now. And then I think I got a message at like 11:30 going, the toilets are back open. And I'm like, sick, there's an hour left.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember being with you, and it was just like we had to meet him because this was all like all the streets were closed and stuff. So we had to tell all the traffic controllers like, there's a truck coming. There's a big truck coming. Let that man through. And then obviously this is at the Wacker, so you can't get into the Wacker because we had like 14,000 people in the Wacker. You can't drive a vehicle through there. So he was like parked up on this street near Trinity, and I was like feeding a hose over to Tay. Tay was running the hose along like the cricket pitches and stuff like that. Then we were pushing it through.
Dream.
Pushing it through a rose bush, and we had like a couple of our site managers on the other side, and we were like looping it through these trees. And then we just like ended up plugging in. I just remember looking at Tay, just being like, "Oh, dude, this is far." Meanwhile, it was like 8 cleaners still squidging, just keeping the shit from like fucking spreading too far into the site. Just not ideal.
Beautiful.
There you go. So this is the reality of what hosting a music festival is like.
Yeah. You think you've got everything sorted, and then
Shit hits the fan.
shit literally hits the fan.
Alrighty, boys. So you used to run Flamingo Fridays. Now you run Matter Fridays down at Magnet House every Friday night. How'd that all start?
Jarrad?
Oh, I can't remember.
I remember Flamingo. So we did do seasons at Blue Flamingo.
Yep.
And we were just like, oh my God, this venue's so cool. Why don't people do stuff here more regularly? And I think I turned to Jarrad. And
That's right. Yeah, it was you. You spotted it from way back.
Yeah. I'm a genius.
Yeah.
I spoke to Jarrad and Richard and said, why don't we do a weekly Friday here? Like, it's busy on Saturdays, but it's dead on Fridays. I reckon it'll go off. And so it did.
Yeah, fantastic. And then how did you evolve that into what is now Matter Fridays down at Magnet House?
Matter was an interesting one because Magnet did that full renovation.
Yep.
And COVID hit.
Okay.
COVID hit the weekend they launched. Like the first week of COVID that Perth ever experienced was their launch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'd done this whole renovation, and then they had to close for probably 9 months or something like that.
Because did they change name? Did they used to
that
just
was
be called
Capital.
Capital? Yeah,
That's
that's right.
Yeah. And then they came. We went through the venue, and we had no idea. I don't think that it had been renovated, and we just kind of went through to have a look at it and see if we could do kind of like a Flamingo Fridays, but for them.
Yep.
And we walked in and we're like, oh my God, like you fully renovated this place. This place looks sick. And then kind of put a little proposal to them, and they were like, yeah, happy days. We'll have you guys on as soon as like COVID's done. We'll ramp it back up and get the club pumping again.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
So
how long have you been doing it now?
2 and a bit years.
Yeah, we just had our second birthday, I think,
Oh, that's
like
right.
Yeah,
2 months ago.
Yeah.
or something.
That was when
That
we
was the
met.
first time we were there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there
when
we
we
go.
met.
That's all we came. We knew. We
Yeah.
were there.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. Obviously, we've done it through COVID, so like, you know, those times sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, we, as Tay kind of said, like, I think we were aware that they'd done a reno, but because they had met, I remember them making a big song and deal about it, like big renos coming, blah blah blah. But then COVID hit, and then that, you know, everything was shut for months and months. Like, I think everyone forgot about it, and that's essentially why they kind of were like reaching out to us, going, "Do you want to run the Friday?" As a bit of a, I don't know, an insurance policy, I guess, because their whole plan was like, it'll all just be run in house.
Yep.
We've put this big renovation in. This is going to be sick. We aren't going to, you know, bring anyone else in. We would run it ourselves. But then COVID. So really, COVID was a blessing
for
in
you,
disguise
yeah.
for us, because
So
it
they
gave us an
reached out to you.
opportunity. Hey?
They reached out to you.
Yeah, it was
Well,
something
Richard teed up the
like that.
meeting, so I don't know. Yeah, they might have reached out to Richard or.
I know that we were in contention with a couple of other companies.
Fuck them.
And we
And you guys won.
The best.
roll in and we just go 15,000 people. What could we do with you?
And obviously, you know, we've been down a fair few times now. Shit pops off.
Yeah, it's a big night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very big night.
Effortlessly big. Like, there's not a huge amount that goes into it from your side of things. Like, is it just sort of
A lot of-
repeat
a lot of-
business?
At this point in time, not that much effort, if I'm being completely honest. But getting it to that level,
yeah.
and consistently.
and consistently, like when the first kind of like 3 to 6 months of any brand is like the make or break. You either sort of tweak it constantly, like you immediately find out if the idea is good or not.
Yeah.
You learn that very quickly.
Obviously, running these events though, there got to be some perks. Talk us through the perks and some of the cool people you meet along the way.
Yeah. No, there's definitely perks. Once you kind of, you know, running these events, it's a relatively small community.
Yep.
Like, you know, there's only X amount of clubs in there. There's only X amount of door staff, DJs, whatever. You start to get to kind of know anyone and everyone. Mm-hmm. And I think it's pretty good. Like, that small community does look out for each other in a sense. Like, if anyone, you know, messages me and says, "Mate, I've got the night off, I'm coming through," it's kind of like, yeah, absolutely, roll on in. Like, we've got a big guest list for the seasons and all that. And then that kind of favour's repaid. So there's perks there. I guess for one of the perks for us is like, we're pretty big. Well, on the Friday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty big. We're pretty big on the Friday nights. So like recently we had, because Magnet House is like right next to RAC Arena.
Yep.
So like just the other night, Billie Eilish was playing and all that.
Cool.
But from time to time, the artists from RAC will
Mosey on down.
roll
Yeah.
on through. You know, they'll finish their show and they'll be like, "Let's go out." So like a story I guess I've got about that, if we've got
I think we got time.
I don't know if we're gonna need to edit the names out, but there was recently fuck it, I'll say it. Like, what's he gonna do? It's like message me on Insta from the UK. Lewis Tomlinson? Is it Lewis?
At least get his name right.
Louis
I think you're right.
Tomlinson.
Louis,
from
yeah.
One Direction.
Louis from One Direction. He played at RAC.
Cool.
And then, unbeknownst to us, he was at RAC that Friday night, and that was his last show of the Australian tour.
Yep.
And his Australian leg of his world tour
Cool.
was the last leg. So he was his show on that Friday was like, "I'm done."
I
Like,
feel like that happens a lot because I was at Billie Eilish on Friday and that was her last leg on her world tour as well. It's
That-
like the real last stop.
yeah.
Like, get
Perth
to the
is
shittest place.
Yeah. They're like, trust me, after playing here, you will not want to play again for a while.
You will be ready to make another album. Anyway, so we got a call from the venue and they were like, "Look, Lewis Tomlinson's team just contacted the venue. They want to come down to Matter."
Beautiful.
And I was like, "Yeah, all good. No worries." And they're like, "They will want to duck into your green room from time to time. They're going to get a booth. They've got their own private security. It's an entourage of like 25, 30 people.
Cool.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm having a big night. So,
Yeah.
Get Louis down.
The more the merrier.
Yeah,
Get Louis down.
Bring him down. And then essentially, they stayed in their booth for half the night. The other half of the night, they came down to the green room, which is basically where like our DJs and we hang out. So we're not sitting out there with all the other peasants. I'm joking. But we've got a space like a room where we've got a couple of drinks aside, and like all the DJs can put their equipment and photographers and all of that, and
Chill out.
they come down to chill out to get away from it. And then Louis was coming down like every 15, 20 minutes with like half of his entourage. So like I met him, met his security team, and then met like his hairdresser that did the whole world tour with him.
Okay, right.
His makeup artist and all of that. Like he had someone that, like I think picked out his clothes and stuff.
Stylist.
Like stylist, yeah. And then Louis seemed nice enough, but his security team, you could kind of tell they were on like show 120 because his patience for anyone and anything had worn out. So I was down there, and obviously like, we've got drinks and Red Bull vodkas, and I was kind of like, oh, Louis, do you want a drink? And then Louis kind of stood up, walked over to me. We had a quick chat. And then this entire time I could just feel like this presence just eyeing me down. And I was like, oh, okay. This dude, big dude, like...
Seki.
Yeah, he's private security straight out of, I don't know, fucking South London. I don't even know if that's like a dodgy place. Somewhere. And he basically just puts his hand on like the back of my neck and rips me around him. And he's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And I was like, oh, I don't know, man. What is going on? And he was like, don't you ever talk to Louis again. And I was like, fuck. And he's like, I'll get you out of here. And I was like, oh, like I was just saying hi, being nice, And like I didn't want to pull the big dick card, but I was like, dude, if one of us leaves this green room, it's not me. Okay, you will be very surprised at this situation. My relationship with this club is pretty good, and you're leaving the country tomorrow. Anyway, he basically was like,
But Louis didn't have an issue with you. It's just
Louis, if you're out there. Great chats. Different security guard next time if you can. But Louis was cool. He was like, yep, no, I'm good. We can go grab a drink later, blah, blah, blah. He's just waiting for some friends. And he was like, but let's chat later. And I was like, sweet, dude. But then, fucking dude. And then he basically was like, you need to sit the fuck down right now. And I'm not going to lie. I had a few drinks at this point in time. Okay? My confidence was a little higher than it would normally be on a Wednesday night. And I was just kind of like, I'm not fucking sitting down. Like, this is my green room. Like, you're here because I allow it. And then he's like, sit the fuck down right now. And he kind of gave me a bit of a shove. And he was like, don't you even look in his direction. and I thought about this comeback. I'm going to be honest. I thought about it the next day. I wish I thought about that. But how good would it have been to look him in the eyes and go, so you're telling me I can only look in one direction? But sadly, I did not think of that. It made for a great status the next day. Did very well on the socials. But yeah. Anyway, that same security guard ended up. I had some other friends down there, and one of the girls wanted a photo with him. Like, understandable.
Yeah, fair enough.
And she asked, and apparently he got hella aggressive with her as well, to the point that he told her to fuck off, and then she started crying, and then. Thankfully, he had more than just one person on security guard. Like, he had, I think, 4 in total. Another guy watched both of the incidents kind of transpire and then ended up going over to the girl going, that dude's just pretty highly strung. He's been on the road for like 7 months.
Yeah,
like, blah, blah, blah. It's all good. I'll find out if there's a time later on, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up speaking to him, and he was pretty cool. He was from the UK as well. And he was saying he was like in the special, what is it?
SAS.
No. He's in the what's the British version? Oh, it's British SAS, or is it just Australian
Special
SAS?
Arms?
Just the Special Forces.
Whatever. Someone, if you're listening to this, like, go British Special Forces. He was in that. And then he did all of his training in Perth.
Oh, right.
So he's like, yeah, because I ended up talking to him, and he was like, yeah, no, I actually spend half the year here every year. So like he was like, yeah, dude, I literally when I'm here, I'm living like 20 minutes from here. It's all good.
Yeah,
like, I get it. I've been out at this club before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, brother, wish you came and spoke to me.
Where were you
Yeah.
5 minutes ago, Ledge?
No, this other dude was, I don't know, it's like 120 kilos, just built like a shit brick house, wearing full camo. I'm like, dude, we are not in Nam. Like, I'm offering drinks, not fucking,
Yeah.
But yeah, so you could say it's a perk. I mean, like, I nearly got the shit kicked out of me by some fucking dude, but met Louis.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's sick.
So you get them. Billie Eilish did not come through. So
Do
it
you
happens every now and then, but not all the time.
when you spend so much time at Magnet though, do you ever hit the other clubs? What are your other favourite clubs in Perth, boys? You don't talk too highly of them, obviously.
Yeah, no. Magnet's
I don't
the
go
only-
anywhere.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, it's home or Magnet. So, no, we used to go. To be honest, since we started doing the Fridays, and we're there every Friday, it kind of takes us out of like.
Yeah.
We have pretty big nights on Fridays, so like
Yeah,
Saturdays.
we've been there for a few of them. Don't
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the last time you guys came through, what time did we leave?
We left at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that-
you guys dropped me home.
Yeah, it was,
The
the
last
sun was rising
last-
in the distance as well.
the last time we were there, you were like, "I'm gonna go up and get some more drinks," and then you went up, and then you're like, "All right, the club's shut. We need to leave." Yeah.
They're literally cleaning the bar. That's all
They were
we
like, the
leave.
club's been
So we'll
shut
leave.
for half an hour.
Probably head off then.
Yeah.
We literally walked out to staff members like packing up chairs and shit.
Yeah.
It was
The
like,
sun was
oh,
coming
sorry,
up.
don't mind us.
Yeah, they're like, what are you guys still doing?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, then I had work at 9 a.m.
But
Good
yeah,
shift.
that was it. But no, usually on like the Saturdays we'll kind of go out for like special occasions, I guess. But like there's a couple of clubs that I probably am not that much welcome to anymore. Like, fucking, do you guys know where Butterfly is?
I'm familiar.
Yes, right.
I've
Do you want to hear a story?
I've been
about
kicked
that?
out a few times.
We
yeah.
always want to hear a story.
Oh,
about that.
man.
We got some good stories. about
Riley and
Butterfly.
his mates, I think, added the no maxes rule
Yeah.
on their. They have their like dress code.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We had a video go like
What did you
decently
do?
viral on here because Riley got kicked out. All his mates got locked
Yeah.
out.
Well, we
because
didn't
they
get
were
let
wearing
in
the
for
wrong
months,
shoes.
and then I got in one time, and because we got in, I got so excited that I had like vodka and orange juice in a bottle like this, but it was like this much vodka, this much orange juice. Drank
Love
the whole
that.
thing before we got in. And it all came up pretty quickly after, and the security guards escorted me out.
But I remember you
They-
because
And I
you
was
didn't
dragging
get let in for the Air Maxes, right?
Yeah.
And then we put that video on TikTok, and then everyone went off on it. And then
Yeah.
a week or two later, they changed their rules so
Oh,
that you
did
were allowed
they?
to wear Air Maxes in there. We were
And-
like, well, that's like a
The
very
power of social
that's
media.
a very convenient change you've just
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
And when Riley was like vomiting on the side of the road, I think the security guy was like, "Hey, that's the guy from TikTok."
And then he went and got me a garbage bag to vomit into. Good guy, that guy. No idea what he looks like or he is, but great guy.
Love that.
What's your story?
Oh, last time I was at Butterfly. I can't remember the occasion I was there for. I think it was a friend's. Oh, that's right. It was a friend's birthday.
Cool.
And it was a pretty big night. We had a booth. There was bottles of vodka going everywhere. And then I won't say names, but I know some of the staff behind the bar, and they were kind of like hooked me up a bunch of times to see tickets. You're drinking for free tonight, and I was like. I didn't want to expect it, but I better have gone. And I was like, oh, cheers, mate. And then a little thing about me, I can't do tequila. I can't do tequila. I was used to drink a lot of tequila, and then I was like, at one point, my body just said, hey, how about we don't do this anymore? And if you try, we will immediately throw up.
Because
So,
do you
like-
guys drink a fair bit? Obviously, as party people.
Yeah.
Like, how
It's
many,
Wednesday, so
this is my fourth beer. We've been going for 17 minutes.
how many standards do you guys need to get drunk? Obviously, as party people, because I've noticed my tolerance is going up. But I'm only a peasant compared to you. What, 40 years behind you guys?
combined.
How many are we drinking on a night out? Well, what was this night?
We'll polish a bottle of vodka when we're downstairs with you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Between like a group of 5 or 6,
It depends on how big. If I'm having a big night, like the sky's the limit. The sky's
Until my body says no.
Yeah, I can't do that many beers. I get like bloated before I get drunk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be feeling like, ugh. And I'm like, I can probably fucking shouldn't drive, but like, you know, physically, could I get myself home? Like, yeah. But I wouldn't. I would never do that. You know, Uber is too easy. But yeah, on the spirits and stuff, I'll do all right.
Thank you for answering my question. Proceed with the story.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't do tequila.
Yes.
Can't do it. And then I was getting served by like these 1 or 2 guys, knew them from way back. They know I'm not about tequila, so it was just fireball.
Oh.
And I got to the point of being like, I was a mess. I was an absolute state. Like, I know that I was just stumbling around, finding my way back to the bar for more fireball shots.
Yeah.
And then I bumped into my mate at the bar, and I was like, "Yeah, hit me with another one." And the manager came up,
Said, don't hit him with another one.
and he was just like, "I need you out back," and he was like, "All good. I'll get my friend, another bartender, to serve you." And then this girl was just like, "Yeah, all right." And I think he just said like, "Yeah, free shots with this guy." She just poured out what I thought
Was fireball.
was fireball. I've been drinking fireball all night. It's kind of the going rule with me at the club. Felt like it. Obviously, I've never spoken to this girl. In hindsight, there's no chance she knew this rule. And I did not say anything to her, but I was quite a mess. And I was like, "Thank you very much." Tap on the shoulder. Did the shot of tequila. Pretty much before the tequila hit the back of my throat, my body went, "This isn't happening." And I went, "You know what? I'm not opposed to this not happening." So I immediately threw up. So like, I put my hand over my mouth, and I just threw up, and the vomit was just sitting in my mouth. This is a very hot story, by the way. And I was like, also another thing, this should have been my answer when you were like, something that people don't know about you. If I yak once, it doesn't stop at 1. Okay? My body just goes, we're already halfway there. Let's get all of it gone. So then I was like, I know what's coming next. I started running, and for anyone that's listening, like if you're at the main bar, Butterfly, there's like an outdoor kind of,
It's like a hallway, passageway,
like courtyard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Bathrooms at the back. Yeah. That's just where my mind went, and I was like, all right, let's fucking do this. So I sprinted out. I start throwing up more and more. At this point, you know, yak is just seeping through my hands.
Oh, really?
And
So this is like 3 vomits in your mouth, not 1.
Oh no! By the time I got to the bathroom
I'm so surprised you
line,
kept it in.
before I got to the line,
Oh,
no. This story takes a dark turn. So there's a line of like 6, 7 people, and I was like, obviously, like, you know, in case of emergency, I just run through. And then I was super lucky because I ran in, pushed past everyone, and I got in just as some dude was leaving the cubicle.
Oh,
I was like, but I did have to use my one spare hand to push the dude that's obviously next to the cubicle in line, going, no. And I went in there, and it was kind of like, you know, when your body's like, oh, we've made it. We made it.
Good on you.
That thin red line that was stopping you from absolute chaos, that's gone now. Whatever. The dude behind that just used the cubicle put the lid down. So I just yacked everywhere. I'm pulling the lid up. You know, I'm not an animal. I was going to get the lid up, but I just couldn't hold it. So I just yacked. It was all over like the back wall. Like I'm talking like this came out of my mouth, but then continued in the same line. That it was
projectile.
So I projectile vomited everywhere for like a good 30 seconds. And then I need to obviously say this, like, I'm not normally like this, but I was at quite a state that night where I kind of looked back at the massacre before me, and I was like, well, I am not in any shape to clean
Drive
this.
home.
Like, my God. This would get worse before it got better. I should leave. This whole thing, by the way, was like really, it was 20, 30 seconds of like, it was like 20, 30 seconds of absolute mayhem. So the dude that I pushed out of the way was still standing there when I opened the door again. And I just kind of like, I remember like hitting the door on my way out. And I was like, brother, no. No. And then I was like, well, I got to get out of here because I don't want to leave the club. And like, this is an incriminating scene. So I remember just kind of running at the same pace I ran to the bathroom. I ran from the bathroom. And then I got back to the booth. And the first thing that the guy whose birthday it was, he was sitting there, he was pouring. He was like, oh, do you want another drink? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he just looked at me and he goes, what happened to your shirt? And I looked at my shirt and I was like, oh, dude, everything that I used my hand, just kind of the chin down. And then I was wearing white shoes that night, and they dropped onto my shoes, and I have not bought new. And come along.
Alrighty, boys, we got the boys from Matter Perth here.
Yes, sir.
Matter Fridays. And we thought we would play a game with them based on different locations in Perth, different nightclubs in Perth. We basically got one review, and we're going to pin two options. So option A or option B.
Yeah.
The nightclubs in Perth, you've got to work out where the review relates to, all right? The game is called, fittingly, what do you reckon?
What's the matter, you?
What's the matter, you? What's the matter, you?
Uno, tres. When I was a boy, everything was great. Every day a gift, no need for hate. Everyone was cool, and there were lesser rules.
Alright, boys, who's ready to play the game?
Boy, it makes me sick, all the pissy little views. They can get the kicks, so they share in their reviews. Boy, it makes me sick, as if they give a shit. So why you be so cruel? Let my mama use that say. What's the matter, you? Hey, got no respect. Hey, what's the matter, you? Hey, you're not correct. It's a not so bad. It's a nicer place. Shut up in your face.
So the plan for this game, thank you, boys. So the plan for this game is I'm going to read out a review. It's going to come from one of the, I think we've got 8 different nightclubs in Perth. You basically just have to guess, is it nightclub A or nightclub B? Easy enough?
Yeah. Are they nightclubs or like nights, promoter nights?
No, they're nightclubs. They're actual
venues.
venues
Okay.
themselves. Yeah, all right. So we've got Joe and Jarrad versus Riley and Taylor. We'll kick things off. This is the first review, and it's only going to one person. So Jarrad and Joe are going to get the first one. You boys are going to get the second one.
Okay.
All right, easy?
Okay.
So
I'll keep
the first one I need to know, is it Metro's Freo or is it Metro's City?
Oof.
The review is from Andrew Mathis, and it goes like this. It's a dingy relic of what it once was. Fairly sure the carpets were original from the late 80s. Great for that resistance and a resistance workout going upstairs. Describing the music is beyond my vocabulary. And I like dance/trance/dubstep. The fact that the bars were empty and the dance floor is full suggests that the patrons may have been getting their buzz in a different way. The dance floor is actually looking like something from a zombie apocalypse. Safe to say I won't return, and probably I won't be missed. Is it Metro's Freo or is it Metro City?
I'm thinking I'm thinking Freo because I don't know about City, but I know Freo's been around for like fucking ages, and he said he went there in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm leaning to Freo as well because I think Metro City's more only open for like specific events.
Yeah, and I know Freo has carpet.
Freo does have
Yeah.
carpet. Freo has
We're locking
carpet.
in Fremantle.
choice, carpet.
Yeah.
And they've got it like everywhere as well. Like the
It's-
whole thing's carpet. It just stinks like socks in there.
Just the only thing that could possibly be if Metro City was used to do trance nights and he specifically made note
To
of the
trans.
trans. But
What do we
I
lock
think,
in?
I think
Freo,
Freo.
yeah.
I think Freo. Lock
You
it
boys
in.
are correct. It's
Yes.
free man.
Bang.
Metro's Freo.
I think
Never
I would
in
have gone.
doubt.
I would have gone City.
Yeah,
Would
that's
ya?
why you don't run festivals.
Alrighty, boys. You have a very similar pairing. So you've got Metro's Freo, and you have Metro City as well. This review is a little bit shorter. It comes from Cameron Kim Jones,
Here we go.
who gave it 2 stars out of 5, and he said, "If you ever wondered what Lindsay Lohan looked like if she was a nightclub and not a person, then this is your place. Is it Metro's Freo or is it Metro City?"
I think Lindsay Lohan is out of my generational
Oh,
knowing.
really?
This is up to
the
you,
ball's in
Tay.
your
The
court.
ball's in
Taylor.
your court, Tay.
A Lindsay Lohan nightclub.
Yeah.
I'm going to give her a quick Google. Is she a looker or no?
She's
There-
had,
there-
she's had some downtime.
there was an era.
There's a roller coaster.
Yeah. Mean Girls.
She was in Mean Girls.
Yeah, I know. But she had a downtime.
No, wait, Riley, have you seen Mean Girls? Oh, I'm sidetracking this.
I don't think...
She's the.
Mean Girls one with Terry Crews.
I'd go.
I don't think so.
Of all the actors.
Terry Crews. Not one of the mean girls. Yeah.
I don't know.
I reckon we go Freo as well.
Ooh.
Locking it in?
Yeah.
It's Metro City, boys.
Oh.
So it's 1 for Taylor and... Oh, sorry. It's 1 for Jared and Joe.
None
0
for us.
for
That's all
Riley
right.
and
That's all
Tay.
right.
And
We'll
Riley,
get it back.
have you
Riley
found a
looks like he's
photo
about
of
to hit a
Lindsay?
Metro
I
City.
did, yes.
What year?
Never been to City as well, actually.
Alrighty, the next one. We've got Henry Summer or Paramount.
Paramount.
They're very different.
The review comes from our man Sam Harder, who says, "Experienced sexism from the security guard as he gave line jump passes to only females and refused to allow men to jump the line.
Well, this could be either.
But he allowed groups of females to do the cutting, but he cut off men as they tried to enter with them. I didn't only experience this myself, but I saw him do it to multiple other groups. This was Saturday night, the 9th of July, in the line to enter the club part."
To enter the club.
Club part.
Oh.
A hint.
The big giver. I think we all know the answer.
What are you thinking?
I think I can imagine this happening at the Henry Summers line more because the Paramount line does that like, you know, like there's like the two things. It's like it's almost too busy to be doing that. So Henry Summer.
I think we go Henry Summer.
You're bang on the money. Henry Summer.
Yeah.
2 plays O. All right, boys. This one comes from Matthew Jordan. Bloke with 2 first names. You can't trust him. All right.
Definitely not.
Didn't enjoy our visit here over the weekend.
Which
Door-
place is that?
Oh, sorry. It's the same 2. So it's
Okay.
Henry Summer and Paramount again.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Didn't enjoy our visit here over the weekend. Door staff were unpleasant and rude to some of our guests. As for the kinds of people inside the venue, yuck.
Yeah.
Has to
I think if all the chicks are getting
We're not
lit,
done. We're not done.
if the chicks are going to Henry,
Saw stuff going on inside the bathrooms that you think security would be all over. If they spent less time putting up barriers at the front door and more time paying attention to what's happening inside the venue, maybe it would be a nicer spot. Question mark.
Paramount have a lot of like barriers, like laneway barriers, right?
You could say it's a prison.
I think we're going to lock in Paramount.
I think Paramount,
We're on the
yeah,
same
100%.
Boys, it's Henry Summer.
Oh my god!
Got him with that reverse psychology.
No, that's actually because the toilets in Henry are like tucked away to the side as well, around the back in the dining area. So I can see some illegal stuff happening there as well.
Oh yeah, it definitely happens in there for sure.
So how many are we doing? How many?
I'm not sure. We're just going to play this game
Oh,
out.
cool.
And see how it goes.
So we're up 2-0.
2-0. It's a hot start. All right, boys. The next one is it Paramount or is it Villa?
Ooh.
Okay.
I really hope it's not Villa because we're about to start an event there.
Well,
so
here we go. All right. The entrance was right near the staircase, and I've only been there once before. Had no idea there was another line to go up the staircase, and got kicked out for literally no reason other than confusion, as they thought I was trying to cut the line, and I thought you could just walk up the entrance.
Oh, there's a stairway.
Yeah.
Is it
by both
Paramount
The
them.
outside.
or is it Villa?
They have also queued lines both times. Can I get a when was this review from?
3 weeks ago.
A recent.
Comes from Tina.
As if people are still reviewing nightclubs on Google.
Yeah. What are you leaning with?
don't
Your
go.
gut's been
I
pretty
think-
good.
Villa.
Can I hear the review again?
The entrance was right near the staircase, and I only have been there once before. Had no idea there was another line to go upstairs. Got kicked out for literally no reason other than confusion, as they thought I was trying to cut the line, and I thought you could just walk upstairs from the entrance.
Could be Oh, I don't know. It could be
Oh,
Paramount,
actually, yeah.
because
Paramount
there's
does have that stair line, yeah.
And I feel like as though I've heard recently that Paramount is pumping upstairs, but downstairs is a little, so they've got a line. But
I always get Paramount and the one next door.
Coconut Grove?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Coconut Grove, you can get in around the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it Paramount or is it Villa, boys?
I
I reckon Paramount because the line inside.
Yeah. All right. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
I'm locking it
Paramount.
in. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Bang. They go 3
Ah.
of
There we
3.
go. There we go.
Joey
There we go.
dominates this.
Oh,
All
no.
right, boys.
Get on the board here.
Same for you. Is it Paramount or is it Henry? Sorry.
He's a Villa.
Is it Paramount or is it Villa? Okay, now I've got the question up. Here we go. This comes from Mr. TJ.
Cool name.
This is nonsense. Stop taking fingerprints. That's too much for a club. You guys take pictures of our ID, a picture of us, and that's fine. But why do you want fingerprints as well? My fingerprint is my property. Jesus.
Do you know?
Do you know Mr. T?
Yeah, I know. I've only been there once, and I did get fingerprinted.
Here we go.
It's
Is
Paramount.
It's Paramount.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. They're
Yeah,
on the
I
board.
agree with that guy.
Finally.
Softy, a nice
Why do they
softy.
do fingerprints? Do you
Hey?
guys know? Is
They
that-
sell it to the police.
I remember back at Metro's Frio back when they did that when I was 18 when they were doing fingerprints, and it was like you don't need to do an ID check or anything. You just put your fingerprint on. If your fingerprint's registered, it's like we don't need to check your ID. We've already checked your ID from previous nights. You're
Right.
good.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Usually,
I
influencers
think
at
that's
clubs
what
wear,
it
like
was,
a
right?
lot of fake IDs and stuff. Or people will try and pass off like this older sister's ID or something like that.
But that's silly because then if you do get in with a fakie on your first night,
Oh, it
You're
catches
in for
people
good.
out. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
6 months later, they're like, oh yeah. I'm 18, and they go, absolutely not.
Alrighty. It's 3-1.
yes,
Yeah.
3-1.
It's nearly out of contention. This could basically do it. This one is between Villa and Air.
Oh, the old air.
The review comes from Alex Humphrey, who says, "Here for a trance night event that got changed from Metros. And what an absolute disappointment I had with the venue. As soon as you walk in, it stinks of vomit throughout the whole joint.
I know specifically what event.
And the awkwardly positioned toilets smell of unchanged cat litter.
I do need to apologize. I didn't realize they were serving me tequila.
I paid a lot of money for this ticket just to unenjoy. So much to leave very early. This is verbatim. So much to leave very early without getting my money's worth for the international superstar, Ferry Cornston.
Who? Sorry.
Ferry Cornston.
Fairy corn.
Ferry Cornston.
Just one more time.
Ferry Cornston.
Is Air?
Is it Villa or is it Air?
Where is Air?
Air is in the middle of Northbridge, like on the corner. I think it's James and Francis.
Jesus.
Down the road from Paramount.
I'm
on that
thinking.
corner where that corner
I'll be
roundabout
honest
is. That
with you,
main
I haven't
roundabout.
been.
Is it near?
Don't
Is-
assist.
Do you know where
Mint?
It's
Yeah, it's
directly
right near
above it.
Mint.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I would say I know a lot of shows that are booked at Metro City. If they don't sell well, they move to Villa. But I haven't been to Air in ages. So I can't. Talk
I don't think
about
I've ever been
anything.
there.
What are we going
You're
with,
not missing
boys?
out
Got to
on
lock
much.
something in. Is it
I
Villa or
reckon-
is it Air?
Villa.
I think Villa.
The boys have gone
It's
4
Villa.
of 4.
I
Yeah.
knew it was
This
Villa.
is
They
impressive.
do what they do.
I know, Per.
Have you guys
Alright.
been to Jay and Tay? Have you been to every nightclub? In Perth?
Oh,
No.
not keeping count, but
No. I haven't been
I'd
to.
say
I
pretty
haven't-
close.
I haven't been to Rapture.
I've been to Rapture.
You've been to Rapture?
Yeah.
Oh, between the two of us, we've probably been to every club.
Hmm.
Least favorite. Oh, the we're talking about
We can leave that. All right, next. Next one. All right, this is the second last. So this is the last original question, and then there's going to be a group. There's going to be a group question.
A groupie.
A groupie. Because I found the next one I've searched up quite, interesting. You'll see in a sec. All right, is this Air or is this Villa? This comes from Lily W. The venue itself is pretty cool. It has a lot of potential. However, the demographic that attend really bring the place down. Dress code is not applicable. Pretty disgusting. People wearing dirty clothes. Not very inviting. Just think it needs new cleaning staff, new management, and a stricter dress code. It has so much potential, but it's just such a letdown. Also, very creepy people. Though.
I feel like
Is that
this
Air
club's
or
my
is that
kind of
Villa?
demographic. I don't know.
What do you reckon?
I haven't been to either, to be honest.
You haven't been either.
Nah.
Oh, you'll be at one pretty regularly soon.
Can you do it again? I'll say it again.
It's like a paragraph
review. Take it on the top.
It's basically
Rough
people, rough dress code.
Look. Oh fuck! It could be either. It could be either.
I'll tell you this. I know the answer.
I'd say Air.
Log it in.
It is Air. Which means it's 2-4. We're heading into a double points question here. All right.
Oh, the chances.
Now,
What are the chances of
Why
a
don't we
double
make-
point at the end? You know?
Why don't we make
Hey,
it?
it's like 10-2. It's like winner takes all.
Yeah, let's make this a triple pointer.
Yeah, because otherwise it'll just be a tie.
okay, it's a triple point.
Oh
It's a
my
triple
God.
point. Okay, I've got 3 reviews for you here, right?
Jeez,
I
what?
basically just want to read these out because the owner of the nightclub got back to a few people here. Okay, so it gets a little bit weird.
This is going to be rapture, isn't
a
it?
little bit weird, a little bit entertaining. Amber D, want to get your drink spiked? Here is the place to go, y'all. Unless you aren't worthy to have your drink spiked, well then, tough luck. The owner of this nightclub said, Amber D, you don't have to worry. Nobody would ever waste their drugs on you. It's quite clear that you're not worthy. There has never been a drink spikage in this venue.
This is
this is
a
rapture.
very
This
this
is
is a
the
very
rapture case.
this
was the
well
one-
reported.
This went all over
Yeah.
the news.
This was huge.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
unaware of this until I did a bit of research
Really?
into this last night.
Did you?
I don't
Actually, you
know.
know what? No, don't worry.
He went on quite a bit of a tirade.
He was
this
replying
man.
to the.
Yeah,
Heaps.
no, he
Jamie Carson said, bad experience. Too many people on drugs could easily see who was, but nothing was done about it. And the nightclub owner said, thanks, Jamie. Did you get your drugs sorted? Hate to think that you missed out.
I would say this. As a venue owner, do not engage in that. You should not be saying that stuff. But as someone watching it from afar, this is gold. Absolutely gold. Fucking hell.
We'll leave you all with this. So this one comes from Alistair Varut, who said it's a good place to go and get your drink spiked. And the owner replied, you don't have to worry, Alistair. Nobody would ever waste their drugs on you.
Holy shit! You know this guy.
Fucking
You know
hell.
he lives there.
He lives there.
He lives upstairs.
There you
Really?
go.
I've
Apparently.
heard some pretty crazy stories
Goodness.
that are not
Suitable.
NSFW or whatever the fucking acronym is.
There you go.
I'll tell you some shit. Off air.
Well, victory to Joe and Jarrad.
Yes.
Well played.
Wait, it was it.
Yeah, well played. That was the triple point. but We all
4-2.
get it.
Yeah,
We
you
all
all,
got
you
it.
all
Triple
get it.
pointer.
Everyone's a winner except
Yeah.
the owner of the club, by the sounds of it. Alrighty, boys. So Seasons Ozone, the first initial Seasons event of 2022-2023 summer season, kicks off in only less than 2 weeks away.
Yes.
Yeah,
Time of
yeah.
release 2 weeks.
October 22nd, so not long now.
So how can people go and get their tickets? I hear we're at third release, maybe final release by this
We
point.
just went on to final today.
Yep, we've just
Congrats.
sold out.
So-
We're sold out of third, so we're on to final release now. So
Huge.
Good
tickets
stuff,
are,
boys.
they're going pretty quickly. So yeah,
There's only a handful left, so if
That's
you haven't
sick.
already
Good
got
job.
some, make sure that you get some ASAP.
Yep,
While we're here.
yep. Hit the event. We've got the links in there. Mosh ticks.
Going
Figure-
there. find seasons, buy a ticket.
There
Simple
you
as.
go. Beautiful.
An even bigger reason to buy tickets to seasons this year, Jake.
We love it. We'll be there. The MacPack
The
podcast.
MacPack podcast
we're
will be
perched-
there.
We're perched up at basically the entrance as well, which is very,
Yep.
you can't miss us.
Literally, everyone will be walking past. We'll wave to you on the way through.
Which is absolutely fantastic. We're super excited for that. We'll have a little live podcast set up,
Yes,
ready
sir.
to go. We're getting a couch by the sounds of things as well, which is
Yep.
super exciting.
So
No,
fans-
no questions as to where it came from. But there will be a couch there, casting couch.
Fans and non-fans of the show.
Yeah, so people,
We'll be
punters can
featured.
just perch up, have a chat with us.
Yes.
Hopefully there's a good vetting system because we don't want like some... Yeah, we just want everyone in there, actually.
So if you're listening to this and you do want to be a guest on the MacPack podcast, now is your time to show that.
Exactly. And we're fortunate enough to be in a position where we're giving away 2 different sets of 2 VIP tickets. So
That's it.
you and a friend win a VIP bunch of tickets.
Mhm.
Plus,
Plus, we're going to throw in a $100 bar card for each winner.
we absolutely love that.
must be
very
very
nice.
2 lots of pairings of these.
That's it. So 4 in total.
Exactly.
Two
2 lots of 2.
passes.
2 lots of 2. It's not that hard to work out. It's 2 lots of 2. So we'll be sharing something on social media in the coming days. Maybe it'll already be out by now. All we need you to do is simply like the post, like both the seasons page and the MacPack podcast page.
Follow
and
us.
Tag a friend of yours that you would like to take the other ticket. So obviously there's 2 tickets, so you get one, and then your mate will get the other VIP ticket, and you
That's
guys can share the bar.
And that's for 1 entry, Jake. But how do you get more entries?
If you want more entries for the competition, all you have to do is share that post, that little competition post, to your Instagram story,
Yes.
and then you get 10,
Oh my!
a whopping 10.
That's a lot.
10x.
10x.
Yes.
10x chances to win the competition for seasons 22nd of October.
Yes.
Should be good fun. You
From our
can,
very generous friends, Jay and Tay.
yeah,
Bravo, boys.
exactly. Thank
They're
you
giving
so
the
much.
MacPack
boys.
fans-
No worries.
They're looking after us. They're looking after you.
That's
it should be a huge day. What should people expect?
It should be good.
A whole lot of
After we've spoken 80, we're a 100-minute mark, and everyone's just like, "Whoa, it sounds intense."
No,
Shit everywhere.
It should be good. So we're going back. We did our opener last year at Ozone. So we've changed up the side a bit, but we've still got, our massive stages. They're coming back.
Beautiful.
We've got some new designs for them. Silent
Disco?
Disco. Yep. Silent Disco is going to be there.
Pops off.
Oh, absolutely. Highly recommend if you're trying to get into the Silent Disco, line up 10 minutes before it opens. It opens at 5, so 4:50, get your place in line. Otherwise, you could be in line for a while. No, Silent Disco is ridiculously
Karaoke,
massive.
karaoke bar?
Yep, we've got
Karaoke.
karaoke.
Oh shit!
So,
That's
we
new, right?
expect to hear... Sorry?
That's new.
No, we
What's the karaoke
introduced it last year.
Oh really?
So,
Could get a stop
it's
at that.
basically all Britney Spears,
Beautiful.
Queen, and God, what else? There's one other band that is just constantly built. Bon Jovi.
Can't go wrong.
It's like the best of like 80s, 90s. So it's good.
And is there a bus?
We're converting a bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw this on the map.
So
We're
we've
trying something new on this.
we've
one.
we've hit up our friends from Go Party Bus and said you do a lot of party buses for a lot of festival drop off and pickups.
Yep.
Why don't you just park one in our festival? And why don't we put some DJ decks in there and have a little rave?
I like it.
So
That's fun.
they've stripped the seats out.
So
And we've said it won't get damaged. Don't worry.
Much like every person who's ever ordered a party bus.
Yeah.
No, don't worry, mate. It'll be fine.
It'll make for the best TikTok when we just announced that, and then we've got video footage of this bus just getting
It just
absolutely
cuts to the
launched.
after thing of it on fire.
Last week on the show, I think I had an hour party bus ride to a different festival, shitty festival. Scummy festival, listen out. But yeah, my mates threw up, I reckon, 6 different times on the bus. So good luck with that.
It'll be that bus.
Yeah, no, we were tossing between buying a bus and then like decking out or renting it, and we're like, oh, we don't even know if this idea people are gonna like it, so renting it. So we will see. What state
Don't
it's
damage
in
the bus.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't happen again.
I have a feeling.
Or we'll buy the next one. And,
we were talking about this earlier. Like, there's always one thing that goes wrong with the events. I have a feeling.
Maybe the bus will be the
Someone's driving the bus.
actually, we were joking about this. Like, we don't want to,
Incite
no
violence.
surprises just yet. But like, we normally do a after party.
Yep.
And
Here we
we
go.
typically will provide free buses to said after party. And we were like, how funny would it be
If you're driving
if-
the bus.
if you're in the rave cave bus and all of a sudden this dude steps in, turns the bus on, the music's still going, and we just open the gates out and you just drive out of a festival
That'd be so sick.
and takes you to the after.
Like the scene in The Dark Knight when the bus joins the line of all the
That's
other
it,
buses
yeah,
out of the
that's it.
rubble. Yeah.
Yeah, but one bus is just full of like 150 people just going absolutely nuts. We're decking it out with strobe lights and stuff, so I think the cops will just watch that go along like
How many?
miserable.
How many can it fit?
Well, we've stripped the bus,
Okay.
so there's no seats. So like,
I don't know.
Is that by?
we're going to go ahead and say we're going to fill it until it cannot be
sardine.
filled
that's-
anymore.
So is it going to be
That's dangerous.
actually? Yeah,
Cool.
the logistics questions we can do after the thing. Yeah.
Look, I'll be honest with you, we don't know any more than what you guys do, and we've organised this. We just know that there's going to be strobes, fog machine, and DJ decks in a stripped out bus, and we're kind of turning a blind eye to it.
Are you guys going to go in there at some point?
Absolutely.
You might want to stay down the front of the bus though, so you get an exit. Is there only going to be the one little exit as well?
We haven't.
No
mate,
idea.
You're asking more questions than we did when we
we need this to be understood by everyone. We came up with the idea. We thought about it for 5 minutes. Then we implemented the idea, and we've not asked any
We'll
questions.
see you all on the 22nd of October.
Fuck
Very
yeah.
exciting. We love it. All right, so if you do want to be part of the competition, I believe the season's page will be holding a competition as well. So
Yep.
stay tuned on that page as well. But the MacPack competition is as simple as tagging your friend, making sure that you're following the MacPack account,
Yep.
and liking the post.
Yep.
For your chance to enter and win 2 VIP tickets
Yes.
to seasons in October.
And 10 entries if you share
And
it in your
10
story.
entries if you share it in your story. So stay tuned for that.
Get around it.
and $100 barcode.
And $100
Free
free
drinks.
as well.
And
Bloody oath. Come see the bus. Alrighty, boys. We got Jarrad and Tay in the studio, and it is time for our favourite weekly segment. It is our only weekly segment. It's time for our Everyday Hero, and obviously with the guests here, it's only right that they take this segment. So Jarrad and Taylor, take it away. Who is your everyday hero?
Our everyday hero. We thought we'd keep it seasons related. Someone who saved our festival.
saved our ass multiple times.
Saved our ass multiple times.
Other than you two.
Other than us.
And,
Definitely other than us.
It's one of our now I'd like to hope good mates at City Perth.
Yep.
And the first time we ever threw an event, and he was when you go to City of Perth and you apply for an event, you get an events officer
Okay.
who overlooks your entire event.
Yep.
And after our first event, when we ever did one with him, he was like, "We shouldn't have approved that event."
This is caveat. This was early days,
Yeah.
and we were figuring out what happens after you like leave a club. Like we were kind of trying our hand at it for the first time, and
But we're happy to work with you guys and get you guys up to scratch.
Yeah, okay.
And then all of 9 months later, we did our opening event, and we were doing it at Claremont Showgrounds, and it ended up getting cancelled, and we had to move the venue.
Okay.
And we called up this guy, and we said, "I know this is 3 weeks away."
and
But
the
we-
last time we spoke to you, you said you're never approving anything by us.
But we need to move this entire event at Claremont Showgrounds to the Wacker,
Okay.
and we need it done in 3 weeks, which usually takes 3 months.
Which is like usually like right now. Of time
Yeah, it would be like
recording.
us
Now.
calling up someone going,
We
"We
need to
are
move
doing
this
15,000
entire
people in 3 weeks."
And you've already sold
At
tickets.
your
Already sold the tickets.
Okay, so-
And we said, "Will you help us do this?" And he said, "I've got your back. Let's do it."
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fucking good.
Get in, boys.
And he's our everyday hero.
Did it work out?
And it worked out.
Worked
Swimmingly?
out.
Yep.
Yep.
Nothing bad happened.
Oh no. No. Operationally, like all large scale events, absolute nightmare.
But it was there. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yeah,
We had a play.
It was
we got
good.
it approved, and he's our officer for the ozone one. So
Yep.
happy days.
He's that's it. But yeah, no, it was good because the first time when we worked with him, I'll be the first to admit it, we kind of didn't know anything. We were kind of like blind leading the blind. And
How old are you guys at this point?
24,
Yeah.
25.
Okay, yeah, fuck. I'm 25. I know nothing. So,
Yeah.
fair
Yeah.
Checks
enough.
out. Yeah.
yeah, checks out.
Could you imagine me and you running a festival tomorrow? Be like, man,
I'd go terribly.
Yeah. So like, you
I can
know,
hardly do this.
we made some big no-nos, and to be honest, the event should have been cancelled. The first one that we did with the City of Perth, like looking back on it, it was a miracle that we got this by. A lot of it was us just kind of like not saying we're doing this, and then them coming down for final inspection, going, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
And then us kind of going, "Well, you can either cancel us now, or you can let us run, and we'll just fucking hope for the best." So we got a breath of fresh air from him then. He was like, all right. And then he just kind of said, never again. And then the next time we spoke to him, thankfully, the Claremont thing, it was a bit of a kerfuffle within the city of insert suburb. All the towns and city of whatevers knew about what was going on and knew that it wasn't our fault. So I think when he called us, there was a little bit of sympathy in it.
Okay, that's
He was like, yeah, so you guys got dragged into that. And we were like, oh, yeah. And he was like, fucking come here, boys. And now we're tight. Now we're
there he
super
looks
tight.
after you.
Yeah,
he looks after us.
we get on really well.
Does he come down on the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like working or?
Yeah,
Fuck's
yeah.
sake.
Working.
I think,
Come to the after party?
Yeah. he hits us
He's
up.
driving the
critiques
bus.
for other
This
people and stuff. But yeah, it was one of those things where like our meetings with him and like the entire like City of Perth, all the stakeholders and stuff, you have to go to like the council house and like the big boardrooms and there's like 40 people in there. And these days it's kind of like we roll in on casual Friday. He's there in a Hawaiian shirt and he's like, boys. And we go up there and he's like, so what's the plan? I'm like, we'll kind of figure it out as we go. And he goes, good enough. We get some documents into me and we're like, yeah, all right. It might change. And he goes, all good, baby. We'll handle it. And, so full 180. And props to him because,
That's it.
it's his ass on the line if something goes wrong with us. Like the kind of buck stops with him for his job. And he took a chance on us. And I want to say it's paid off in spades.
For you at least.
We've all made friends out of it.
Yeah, there you go. So this week's Everyday Hero goes to Jarrad and Taylor, is a very trusting member of society who's assisting with every event that seems to be happening.
Yeah.
In the City of Perth.
That has quite a risky threshold, but he doesn't seem to mind. We absolutely love that here at the MacPack podcast.
Yes.
So that's why this week's Everyday Hero goes to the member of the City of Perth for looking out for our boys.
Cheers, mate.
All right, boys, that brings us to the end of another episode of the MacPack podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to have both Jarrad and Taylor join us in the studio.
Hell yes.
I'm very excited for seasons in only 2 weeks' time. So if you haven't already grabbed yourself some tickets, make sure that you do so because they are selling out super quick. And make sure that you do check the socials because we've got a competition running. Seasons, the actual Instagram page themselves will have a competition running. So make sure that you enter those for your last chance to get some freebie tickets before the tickets go up as the final release comes out for sale. Anything else to add, boys?
No, just come down, party.
Come down.
Yeah.
22nd of October, have a good time.
That's it.
It should be
see
good.
us, see you.
And just pray that the weather's good. We want no rain. Oh, mind you, we've got weather insurance. So
We've got weather insurance.
Yeah.
I'd be annoyed if it doesn't rain.
we're praying for rain, apparently. It should be very exciting. We're absolutely stoked to be there this year. Yeah, October 22nd. We'll see you down at Ozone. Boys, until we do this time next week, and hopefully we do this in the soon future, boys.
No, amazing. Thank you for having us. This has been a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
Make sure that you stay safe. Stay blessed, and always remember to
Give your mum a hug.
There you go.
ciao for now, but not forever.